Hi everyone and happy Monday. Glad you could join me. So we're going to do our Pilates session this evening. We're going to do all of it on the floor. So if you'd like to get yourselves comfortable, do just remember as usual to work to your level of strength and experience. And if you feel like you need to take it down a level anytime, you can. And if you need to stop any of the exercises, you can also do that as well if you need to. Just going to have a lie down on our backs. We're going to separate the feet and the knees so that they're in line with our hips. And we're just going to make sure we have our neutral spine position. So you're just making sure your back isn't arching up away from the floor. So you can just about get your hands between your lower back and the floor. Breathe thoracically, so nice deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. So we're just going to relax our arms by our sides. We're taking a breath in, and then on the out breath, very simply, we're just sliding the foot along the floor, keeping the heel down on the floor, and then we're inhaling as we return. We continue on the same leg, so we breathe out, slowly slide away, and breathe in. Breathe out and breathe in. So we're working nice and slowly. And I'm just going to do one more before we switch onto the other side. So keep gently contracting your stomach muscles throughout as you do your exercises today. Remember to utilise the air in your lungs, filling them as much as possible. So we're going to do a couple more here. And one last one. Excellent, well done. So we're going to roll over onto our sides now. So you're just going to face me. And you're going to bend your knees, bring your heels up towards your bum. So it's going to do some mobility for the spine. So bring the hands together, just let your head rest on the floor. If you kind of feel like your head's just hanging awkwardly and you can't get it to relax down, then you can just use a pillow or a cushion to just elevate your head and just give it that little bit of support if you need to. So we're breathing in to begin with, and then on the out breath, we keep watching the hand. We're just slowly twisting from the waist. And then we inhale as we return. And we breathe out, slowly rotate. And breathe in. So we just make sure that there isn't any separation of the knees or the feet. And we're just moving from the waist upwards. So just mobilising the spine, warming up the muscles in the back. I'm just going to do a couple more here. Last one. Okay, well done. So just gently roll yourself onto the other side. We're just going to face the other side of the room, just temporarily. So again, we're bringing the heels up to the bum, feet in line with the spine, head rests on the floor, hands together, we breathe in, and then on the out breath we just slowly twist. And we inhale as we return. Just remembering remembering to exhale through the mouth as we take away, inhale through the nose as we return. And we're going to make this one our last one. And then just gently roll back over onto your back. So we're just bringing those feet and knees hip width apart again. Relaxing our arms by our sides. We're going to take a breath in. We're going to mobilise our shoulders. So we take a breath in, and then on the out breath, we just take the arm overhead. A little bit of rotation through the shoulder. Thumb touches the floor if you can get it there. And then inhale, and we now move both arms in opposite directions. And exhale. And inhale. So we're remembering to get that rotation through the shoulder. One more on each side. And then just relax both of your arms down by your side. Well done everyone. So that's our mobility and warm up taken care of. So what we're going to do now is move on to the main session. Oh no, we've got company. This is Mary the cat. I forgot to shut the door. Alright, so we're going to move on to some scissors. So for level 1, we're taking a deep breath in, and then on the out breath, we're raising one leg. So the knees above the hip. Move out the way, Mary. As we breathe out, we lower the heel towards the floor, and then we inhale as we bring the knee back above the hip. So we breathe out, slowly take away. Breathe in as we return. If you're on level 2, you will raise your other leg and you will alternate from one leg to the other. So breathe out and breathe in and breathe out. So level 1, you'll continue on the same side until you need to change, or until I ask you to, whichever happens first. Okay, so for level 3, knees above hips, we breathe in, and then on the out breath, we move both of our legs in opposite directions. So we're strengthening the muscles in the stomach, we're also strengthening the muscles in the back, and we're just making sure the back isn't arching up away from the floor. I've not got the best top on for you to be able to see that, actually. So with both legs up in particular, just make sure your back isn't arching up. And then for level 4, we have our head, shoulders and arms off the floor as well. So again, we're working nice and slowly. The slower we do these exercises, the better. So keep breathing, keep gently squeezing your abdominal muscles in. So if you're on level 1, you can do a couple more if you can, and then switch onto your other leg. Levels 2, 3s, 4s, just continue as you are. It is quite intense on the hip flexors as well, this exercise. Just do what you can. If you're feeling it there, it's not because you're doing it wrong. Excellent, well done. Keep going. And a couple more if you can. And then when you feel like you need to just have that little bit of a release stretch, we're going to come into full body stretch. So take the legs down one at a time, point your toes, and then take your arms overhead. Okay, so we're now going to do an exercise where we're not relying on the hips, just to give those hips a bit of a rest. So we're going to bring the heels in, nice and close, arms relaxed by our sides. Now as we breathe in, we're tilting the pelvis and we're pushing the lower back into the floor, so we're filling up that space that I've encouraged you to keep up to now. Then we're going to breathe out and just peel the spine off the floor. And then we breathe in, we slowly lower the spine back down to the floor, one vertebra at a time, and then we exhale back into neutral spine and pelvis. So we breathe in, and we breathe out. And then we breathe in, and we breathe out on the way down. If you did want to progress that movement, so we're targeting abdominals and back strength-wise, mobility as well for the spine. We're breathing in and we're breathing out, so it starts off the same. Then we hold that position, we take a breath in, arms go overhead. We breathe out, arms come back down to the floor, and then we breathe in and out as we slowly release back into neutral spine and pelvis. So like I say, choose the level that you can do well, that you're confident at doing. And remember, you can stop these exercises anytime that you need to. Don't feel pressured to keep going if you start to feel fatigued. We're going to do two more if you can manage two more. And last one. Okay, well done everybody. We're going to roll over onto our sides now, just to give you a bit of a change of position. We're going to do the side kick. So this one is really good for strengthening our oblique muscles. So we're going to just have a lie down on our sides, making sure we're lined up with the edge of the mat, so in a nice straight line. We want our hips to be stacked on top of one another, so making sure we've not got rotation either to the front of the room or to the back of the room. Okay, spare hand for support if you need it. The nearer it is to you, the less support it's going to give you. So if you just need a little tiny bit, just have your hand nice and close to you. You're going to take a breath in, and then on the out breath, what I want you to do is stretch from your fingertips to your toes. So you lengthen, and as you lengthen, you create a very subtle lift of the legs from the floor. So try and resist the temptation just to think, oh, I've got to swing my legs up really high. That's not what we're doing here. We're stretching. So if you see, my legs have barely left the floor. Okay, so for level 1, you're just going to stay in that position and you're just going to breathe as you would normally. You can take your support hand away if you're more confident, or you can bring it back in front of you if you're less confident. So we're taking a breath in, and then on the out breath, that top leg is moving forward, and then we're breathing in as we return. Breathe out and breathe in. So again, try not to roll forward or backwards. And if you're doing that level 2, either a couple more of the kicks. If you're doing level 1, just a couple more breaths. And then we're going to lower the legs down, bring that top leg up towards you for your release stretch. Well done. Okay, so we're now going to roll over and we're going to do the leg pull. So this exercise is a really good strengthener for your abdominals and back. You might feel it in your arms, your shoulders, a little bit in your glutes and your thighs as well. So just relax for now, just have a little look at your options, and then it is a timed exercise, so we'll all start together. Maybe we'll all finish together, maybe some might finish sooner than others. But it is just a case of how much you can do with this one. So elbows are under the shoulders, you'll place your head and chest away from the floor, so you just lift your head and chest up. So just have a little look for now. You take a breath in, and then on the out breath, you just come up onto the tips of the knees, tucking the pelvis under. So make sure you're not right up here on the knees, sticking your bum out. Tuck your pelvis under so you've got a nice flat back. And then the progression option is with your knees off the floor. So I mentioned that it's a timed exercise. We're going to aim for up to a minute. So those two words are very important, up to a minute. So if it's not an exercise you do very often, then a minute's probably going to be just that little step too far for you. So just do what you can up to that minute. Okay, so I will get my stopwatch. Okay, so position your elbows under your shoulders, head and chest from the floor. And away we go. So you're going to lift yourself into position. So again, option 1 is here. Option 2 is here. Some shaking is normal, all part and parcel of doing this. So if you're on your toes and you're struggling, just modify, coming back down to the knees, and again, just keep that pelvis tucked under. Keep breathing through it, just breathe as you would normally. And remember, you can stop if you get absolutely desperate, but try and hang in there for as long as you can. 15 seconds left. Last 5. And relax. Good work, well done. So we're going to take a stretch there, so you can either push down into the forearms, lift the head and chest, or come right up onto the hands. So it's just, I'll leave that to you, whatever your body feels like it needs. Okay, well done everyone. We are now, just so that you can see, we're going to bring ourselves so that our feet face the other side of the room. So you're resting your head on your arm again. You've got that support hand again if you need it. And you're lining yourself up along with the edge of the mat. So when you feel ready, you're taking a breath in, and then on the out breath, stretch from your fingertips to your toes. Again, we've got that very slight lift. So your option 1 is just to breathe as you would normally. Option 2, take a breath in, and then as you breathe out, top leg moves forward. Oh, good crack in the hip there. Inhale as you return. All that time, keeping that length in the body, keep maintaining that stretch so that bottom leg doesn't come down to the floor. So again, at level 1, you're just breathing as you would normally. Thoracic breathing for this level 2. So the slower you go, the further you go, the more you increase the intensity. Okay, well done. So we are now going to lower ourselves back down when you're ready, and then take your leg up towards you. So far so good, everyone. Alright, so what we're going to do now is move on to some isolation of the muscles in the back. So we're going to do the swan dive. So we're bringing our elbows nice and wide, taking them in line with the shoulders. We're keeping the eyes looking down, so we're maintaining length in the neck. We take a breath in, and then on the out breath, we'll lift the head, shoulders, top of the chest, and then we inhale as we release. And then we go again. So just keep gently squeezing the stomach muscles in. Try not to let your stomach rest into the floor. If you do want to increase the intensity, then you can let your arms float away from the floor. And then level 3 is to have your arms stretched overhead. So we take a breath in, and then on the out breath, head, arms, chest lift together. Inhale on the way down. So we try and keep the movements continuously flowing. Try not to stop and start. And again, do the level that you feel you can do really well. So we're going to do a couple more. Just keep your lower half of your body relaxed. Try not to squeeze your bum or lift your feet. And we want to stay focused on those muscles in the back that are running down the side of the spine. Okay, well done. We're going to sit ourselves back now over our heels. Just let your arms rest next to your legs. Feel free, if you can't do this position, if your knees trouble you, you can just roll over onto your side and hook your knees up towards you that way. Okay, so we're going to do a couple of seated exercises now. So I need to just adjust my position, I think. Alright, so we've done some isolation for the back. We're now going to do some isolation for the stomach muscles. So we're bringing the hands to the backs of our thighs, we're sitting up tall, we're taking a breath in, and then on the out breath we're slowly rolling, flexing through the spine, and then we're breathing in as we come back up to upright posture. So your hands are just there to help you restrict your range of movement, just to keep the intensity that little bit less. For level 2, we take the arms forward, we inhale, we tilt, we curve, we roll down, we exhale. Once you feel you've gone as far as you can, inhale, start to come up, and then exhale up to sitting position. And then continue. So again, one just flows nicely into the next. And if you're brave enough for level 3, then your option is to come all the way to the floor. Your arms go overhead, and then you inhale, arms, head and shoulders lift at the same time. And then we exhale back up to sitting nice and tall. So this is another one where your stomach muscles will probably shake once you've done a few repetitions. Just make sure you've got good flow, good form, technique. So we just need to avoid this kind of thing happening where we kind of drop down and then we have to pull ourselves up. So if you're struggling and you're doing that level 3, then just bring it back to level 2. Don't go as far, that will give you better results than going further and not doing giving the exercise justice. And remember, you can stop any of these exercises anytime you need to. Well done, we're going to do one more if you can manage one more. And then once you've done that last one, you're going to come down into a full body stretch. Okay, we're going to finish off with a really nice one now. You've worked really hard, so well done for that, everybody. So we're going to bring ourselves up to sitting position, and we're going to do a nice seated spine twist. So that just involves bringing ourselves up. You can either cross your legs, you can have your feet on your floor. That's my least preferable option. It does tend to kind of make you roll back a little bit because your knees do get in your way. It does restrict your neutral spine position. Or you can have your legs flat on the floor. So that is up to you. Okay, so we're bringing our hands together. Middle fingers just tuck under the chin, thumbs rest against the chest. Keep your shoulders back and down. We just take a breath in. And then on the out breath, we just slowly twist. Then we breathe in, we come back to centre again. And then we breathe out as we twist to the other side. So it's just a really gentle mobility exercise. Just make sure you're not just turning your head. So that's why we keep the hands in this position. So we're moving from the waist, everything from the waist up is slowly turning. Inhaling as we return. We're still gently squeezing those abdominal muscles in. It's a really nice one to finish on. Okay, well done everybody. Once you've done the one that you're doing, you're just going to bring yourselves back to centre. We're just going to have a little stretch for the sides from doing those side kicks earlier on. So we're going to do what we do call a mermaid stretch, and then you're all done. So we're going to bring your left hand down to the floor, right hand up, and then just take a lovely stretch down your sides. You're just leaning across towards that hand that's on the floor. Switching sides. And relax. So well done everybody, thank you very much for joining me. I will see you tomorrow at the earlier time of 1 o'clock for legs, bums and tums. If you come into that and you have any equipment, any weights or resistance bands, then feel free to bring those with you. Hope to see you tomorrow. Take care, have a good evening.